everybody. So today I want to talk about paint colors. All right, so when it comes to a paint consultation, you really need to have a professional color consultation. Reason being is so many people know exactly what they want, which is great. However, if you do not have a trained eye, finding the right undertones to coordinate with your fabrics, your flooring, your interiors, your exteriors can be a disaster. Undertones make the color. So whether you have a north-facing room, a south-facing room, if you have natural light, if you have artificial light, what types of light bulbs you have, all of those things go into selecting the perfect color. And if you don't have that trained eye or that professional, you can make a very costly mistake by paying a painter or wasting your entire weekend painting yourself and then having the color be a mistake. So, that being said, I want to tell you today about my favorite brand of paint and why I love their colors so much. So today we're going to talk about Benjamin Moore. So, when I was in college, Benjamin Moore came and presented at our school, and they showed us different color palettes. And this is why, across the industry, I think 100% Benjamin Moore has the best colors you could imagine. And one of the main reasons is they have such a variety of color, and they're so innovative with their color selections. So, what we're going to talk about today are the 5 main color palettes, and I will touch a little bit on their boutique collection as well, but I'm going to show you their 5 main color palettes today. So we'll start with the basics. So Benjamin Moore's initial color palette was the Classic Collection. This is still my go-to fan deck for colors. And all of the colors in here are going to be a little softer, a little more grayed down. As it says, very classic. And one thing you need to know about the Benjamin Moore Classic Fan Deck is that these are not the exact lighter and darker colors. A lot of people think that, and that is not how this particular fan deck is set up. So yes, a lot of these will coordinate, but this is not the exact lighter color of this, and so on and so forth. So this is going to be your very soft, subtle, grayed down version if you don't want something too fluorescent or too bright. Even when you go into these brighter, more vibrant yellows, they're going to have a grayed down base to them. They're not going to be in your face and neon. So that's just a quick little bit about the Classic Collection. The next collection we're going to talk about is the Color Preview Collection. Now this collection, if you want to do the little cheating kind of a thing and have your exact lighters and darkers, that's what you're getting on here. So you could do a few walls in light and an accent in dark if you want to. The thing to remember about Color Preview is these colors are vibrant. They are very pure. So when you get this on your wall, it's going to have a very clear, crisp feeling. So even the grays are going to be a little more blue-gray, but they're going to be vibrant. So if you're looking for subtle, this is definitely not the palette you want to be pulling from. This is where you go for those crayon and marker colors, those really bright, vibrant colors. These are great for kids' rooms, furniture, accents, things like that, but not necessarily what you would want to do on your entire wall. All right, then there's a few palettes within this collection here. Benjamin Moore has taken all of their colors that are in, all of their whites, I should say, that are in the classics and the color previews, and they've grouped them together in this OC collection. So OC is the off-white collection, and they've grouped them all together and numbered them all the way up to OC 152. So they have 152 whites, off-whites, creamy whites, things like that. There's a ton of options. So when it comes to hiring a professional and you want just white, you really need to look at these undertones. Going into the next collection within this deck, actually I'll skip that one and come back to that. The Canadian colors, the CC colors. This is a palette that was popular in Canada and they have finally brought to the US just a few years ago. It's a nice variety of colors. I do absolutely love them and have been using them frequently since they've released here. Okay, jumping to Affinity. Affinity collection, I call this the cheater collection. What Affinity is Benjamin Moore spent time creating this palette where there are similar undertones to the entire palette. So what you're gonna get with these is you can choose any 3 colors. It's kind of like a game. You can choose any 3 colors and they're guaranteed to coordinate. That doesn't mean they're gonna look good together because you don't want your house looking like a circus, but they're guaranteed to coordinate because they have that same undertone. You're going to have a soft, cohesive feel throughout the space. But they have everything from your lights all the way to your darks and color variety. So if you like a lot of color and you want your house to look a little like a crayon box, but you also don't want it to clash, that's the collection for you. Okay, jumping back into the middle of our deck, the HC colors, the historical collection. So a long time ago, when they were looking at historical colors, they were going to the East Coast and looking at buildings and saying, okay, these are what the colors were back in the day. These are the historical colors. So they're very subdued. There are quite a few different types of colors, but they're gonna be a little more subtle. People love the historical collection. It's a safe collection. People enjoy it. However, years later, they realized that what they thought was the historical collection was not actually what these buildings were like way back when. So color has deteriorated over time. The paints and the finishes they use deteriorate over time and grayed down and got washed out. So in comes the Williamsburg collection. So Williamsburg collection is what those historical colors actually were back in the day. They were vibrant, they were bright, they were happy when all those dyes were pure color. This is what that was. So it was actually a very happy time, and those dyes were gorgeous and those pigments were rich. So this is what this palette was before it faded over time. And because of that, I love the Williamsburg collection because they are very classic colors, but they're pure and bright and saturated. There are some really amazing grays and blacks and deeper tones in here, but this palette has been so much fun for me. I absolutely enjoy it so much. All right, here we go. So Color Stories. Color Stories is a very, very unique collection from Benjamin Moore. What happens with Color Stories? So paint is usually meant to be a stable color. There's always going to be a little gray or a little black colorant in every color that we have talked about, and that's to stabilize the color. Well, in Color Stories, these are unstable colors. They use metamerism to have colors play off of each other and create a different look throughout the day. Natural light, artificial light. Yes, colors change throughout the day in your house based on natural light, artificial light, what you have next to it, but not like these colors. These colors absolutely morph throughout the day. So what they've done is they've put 7 to 9 different colorants in each single color, and they fight each other throughout the day. So they're gonna bring out completely different undertones. They're gonna bring out completely different colors throughout the day. Not saying you're gonna go from red to green and it's gonna be a chameleon color or it's magical, but it's going to look more dramatically different throughout the day than a stable color from one of the other collections. But you get this lively color that is so saturated that it can't even be put into their normal base paints. It can only be put into the Aura paints. And reason being is Aura has, instead of a typical paint molecule where the colorant sits on top of the paint molecule, Aura, the colorant actually penetrates all the way through the paint molecule. So it can handle much more colorant that it takes to have these amazing colors. So Color Stories can only be done in Aura, but you're gonna get this crazy, vibrant, fun color that's just absolutely insane. So if you're a little more adventurous and you're not trying to match something, that's another thing I wanna emphasize with this collection, is if you want your fabric to match your walls exactly, this is not the collection for you. We can find you a color from one of the other palettes, but this palette, it's not gonna look like that throughout the day, so forget about it. And then the last collection I do want to talk about is their Century collection. Their Century collection is a newer boutique collection, and it's meant for accent walls. It has a velvety, soft feel to it. They're made in small batches. I say it's kind of like the hipster boutique collection of paints. They're pre-mixed, made in small batches, but you get this vibrant color, and it's an ultra matte finish that just feels like heaven on the wall. You're gonna wanna rub up on that wall all the time. It's stunning, absolutely stunning. It's only available at select Benjamin Moore retailers, but you've gotta check it out. You can buy pre-mixed, purchase little samples, but oh my gosh, especially in the dark colors, the purples and the blacks, holy moly, it's amazing. But so, with such a variety of color palettes, Benjamin Moore is definitely the way to go. You can find anything and everything that you need out of a color with their collections. So again, if you are looking to change up your space, hire a professional that knows what they're talking about, that knows the undertones, and can coordinate with what you have in your interior or your exterior to have the most successful painting job that you possibly can. So you guys have an amazing day. Thanks.